Before we start this video, thank you to the members of both of the channels. The brand new Bachmann announcements for Bachmann, Thomas, and Friends, they actually just got leaked. And before we get into the main ones, they released these brand new wagons. We have a chocolate syrup tanker, some brand new wagons for HO scale, and then the new stone wagons for the narrow gauge engines. But I don't really care about that. The rolling stock are mainly repaints nowadays. Anyways, we are getting updated HO scale Thomas and Percy. Yes, the Thomas and Percy models that have been a thing since 2002 are now being remade with CGI series faces. They are getting updated models. This is the HO scale page. This is the Bachmann mid-year announcements for the Bachmann, Thomas, and Friends line. All of Bachmann, all of their trains in this catalog. But in this Thomas section, this is what is brand new. It is leaked a day early, like 12 hours early. We are getting, as you can see right there, it says updated model with moving eyes, illustration shown. We are getting CGI Thomas, updated HO scale, and CGI Percy. Now, basically, you can expect these guys to look the exact same in terms of, size and shape, but Percy's going to have his N scale face, and then Thomas hopefully will have a much better face than his N scale version. So Thomas is going to be looking like he does in the CGI Brenner era, and the same with Percy. And to be honest with you, I absolutely hate the CGI series in that era. So am I going to be buying Thomas and Percy now that they've been updated with CGI faces? No, I'm not going to, because these faces suck. And at the end of the day, if they do update the bodies and make them better, then I would buy Thomas, rip off that garbage face, and put on a nice wooden railway face. I think that's what I'll do. If the bodies are updated, Thomas looks better, has better coloring. I don't know. I don't know what they could do to improve on it off the top of my head. But if they improve their bodies, especially the Percy, the current Bachmann Percy is so bad. So if they make these guys better, their bodies, higher quality, better paint, then I'll just buy them, rip off those garbage CGI faces, throw them in the garbage, and put on some wooden railway faces. Anyways, moving on to the most exciting reveal. They are making HO scale Diesel 10. Now, right off the bat, I'm very happy they're making Diesel 10, but my biggest problem with that is he's based off the CGI series. This is not the real Diesel 10. I don't care what anyone says. Diesel 10 never should have come back after Magic Railroad. He was peak in Magic Railroad. He still is the only villain ever to be in this franchise in reality. He's the only good villain, even if you truly think there were other villains. Diesel 10 is the only good one, the only real one. He never should have returned because he's coming back in his CGI form where they literally ruined him. They made him a laughing, giggling Diesel spinning around on the turntable in Day of the Diesels, an awful movie. His appearance at the end of Misty Island Rescue was good. It was fine. There wasn't really anything wrong with that. But then they ruined it in Day of the Diesels. So it's kind of hard to appreciate a CGI slop Diesel 10 knowing that Day of the Diesels exists. Now, I'm also very excited for Diesel 10 because, well, the shape of him, they have never made a Diesel with this shape for the Thomas and Friends line. He's a class like 10 warship or something. I don't remember. He's a warship class Diesel. He's going to look cool in person regardless. But the biggest question is he going to have this exact expression, or are they going to give him an angry face? As long as they give him an angry face, I'd be happy, even if it is CGI. But if he's smiling like that, I don't know about that. That's not a very good Diesel 10 face. Now, the big question is how they are going to do the claw. Is his claw going to be stuck to the top of his body, kind of like the Bondi Diesel 10, I believe? No. Sorry, I'm thinking of the Ertl Diesel 10. Is he going to be like the Ertl Diesel 10 with the claw stuck to his body? Will you be able to manually move the claw, or will the claw just crunch open and close as he's running and his eyes are moving? I wonder if they'll hook up the claw opening simply to the motor like the eyes or something like that, or they might get creative with the claw. We have no idea how that's going to work. I bet you they are in the still early phases of how do we even accomplish making Diesel 10. I bet you they're still at that phase. because I feel like this is a release just like Flying Scotsman, where it was made just for the fans. And so I don't think they're going to want to mess Diesel 10 up. So they could probably take like 3 to 4 years to make Diesel 10. They might even take longer. Because if you remember, they announced N Scale Henry, and N Scale Henry has taken them over 2 years already, and he's a character that's reusing Gordon's body, I believe, or his chassis. So N Scale Henry isn't even all brand new, and it took them over 2 years to make him. So, and we already know how long some of the HL scale engines have taken. I think Oliver took such a long time. Bo was pretty quick. I forgot how long Ryan took and Rebecca took, but Flying Scotsman was announced last year. We haven't seen anything from him, but we'll see. We'll see how long Diesel 10 takes if they actually make him. But my goodness, so they are releasing 3 brand new HO scale open wagons with some loads, a chocolate syrup tanker, 3 brand new narrow gauge like stone wagons. Then we're getting updated Thomas and Percy in their CGI faces. And then we're getting CGI Diesel 10, and we don't know how the claw will work. But I think Diesel 10 will be worth buying regardless, just because of his shape, his character, how iconic he is from Magic Railroad, not the garbage movies he appeared in after that, not the garbage CGI episode where he steals Christmas decorations after that. They had no idea what they were doing with Diesel 10 anytime they used him after Magic Railroad. But seeing Thomas and Percy being remade also makes you wonder why they are not doing the same with James. Because out of all the CGI faces for those 3 characters, Thomas, Percy, and James, I think James has got the least bad one. So I'd really like to see them remake James, especially because the original 2002 Bachmann James is one of the ugliest engines I've ever seen come out from an electric toy line. But one thing we also can't forget is the fact that Thomas and Percy being updated, their prices are going to be an absolute joke. The prices might be gouged to an extreme level. And that's something we also have to talk about with Diesel 10. How much is Diesel 10 going to cost? Because I believe Flying Scotsman on trainworld.com, which is accurate for pricing, Trainworld, not Bachmann, where it's inflated, trainworld.com, last time I made a video on it, it might have changed, Bachmann Scotsman was around $260. $260 for a Thomas and Friends character. So Bachmann is going to be pricing Diesel 10 and possibly even this Thomas and Percy as toys for the fans. Toys for the hardcore fans, not for the parents and kids who bought the slop, 20 years ago. Who knows how much these guys are going to cost? It's going to be a joke. It probably will be very hard to justify buying. I'm not going to lie, but we'll see. We'll see how they handle these guys. We're going to have to wait and see for painted samples to really make firm opinions if you want to buy it or not. But anyways, guys, Diesel 10 is coming to Bachmann. And brand new Thomas and Percy after 25 years? 25 years it took them to update the 2 main characters of the Bachmann line. What a joke.